And of course, we're going to be talking about next week. What's going on next week, brother? Hey, man. You got the mic? You got the mic? What's going on next week? What's going on? Talk to me.
Yeah, man, we're going to do what we do.
I got it.
9th Mile Galleria, 603 North Market. Come on out for Second Fridays, the Gen X Experience. Thank you, Sister Abundance, for putting that together.
Don't forget, y'all, it's 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah, we're going to rock out, y'all.
If you come in expecting something else other than those three genres and years, you may want to go another place.
Go to some Jitterbug Club.
Yeah, go to Apex.
Go to the Jitterbug.
No Jitterbugs.
Okay. The sister gonna have some food too, so
yeah,
we're adults. This is adult
Should
food.
I just stop saying them
with
lentils?
Adult food?
Should I just stop saying them lentils? Should I just stop?
Yeah, we done with the
lentils. Got him out. You might have to just make him like one of them platter joints.
Give me a big bowl of lentils and rice, freeze it. No, appreciate you for listening. Thanks for listening to WJBS Radio. Yep. My man, Sir Jam, always doing your thing.
I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah.
Peace and soul. That was it.
That's it. Yeah, so on the app, we're like 20, 30 seconds behind. So you might hear that. I don't play both. Yeah, we good. I'll take it out. Yeah. Give me some sound, baby. Jam, let me have your cord. Please, brother. Yeah, I just always run the app to see what radio it is. Make sure everything's
7:58.
I just keep it in the background. I used to sit there with the headsets on. It don't really help me to know what everybody else hears. So
that's true.
Thank you, bro.
You stop that?
Yeah. And we're just gonna keep the same settings, right? I ain't touching this, so you should be fine. No, I'm talking here.
Oh.
7:59.
No, I can't even do nothing with that. He's in there, right?
No, he's in there.
He's in this?
Yeah, just switch cords. That's all.
You shaking your leg.
Give me some.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, where's that?
Yep, perfect. All right, we're good. Hold on, pause. We're good. All you gotta do, John, is I'll set this up and you just type in abundance.
Where am I typing?
I'll tell you where it is.
Right here, A, B.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Where's the mouse at? Oh, you got the mouse.
I got the mouse, so I'll click it on. Matter of fact, you can go ahead and type it in now, and then I'll hit it. That's why I bring the mouse over. Just put in abundance, and we're good. And we're good. That's all I need. Thank you, sir. I'll punch this in a minute. All right, we at 7:59. Whenever you ready, I'm ready.
We ready.
And Tahira, I'm not gonna pop y'all mics on until your song ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need your mic.
Oh yeah, get your mic. Give me 1 second.
Oh, I just remember.
In 3, 2, 1. I actually remembered to hit record this time.
Indigenous ties, they fake our demise, but we recognize, gotta clean what is ours. We time for debating, ain't trying to divide. This divine truth, we don't deal with the lies. Real plans we provide, take you out on the ride, our people are hypnotized. The truth can't be denied. So we take it back to the essence, back when it wasn't aimed at all lessons. Scared, we spit the message. Every form of truth is
Oh, you giving Maxine's daughter 5. I really am.
My big head in the way. My big head in the way, baby. Girl, don't put my big head in there. All right. I'm not going to put Tahira's mic up yet. Is that all right? Hold off on Tahira's mic. Abundance. I'm going to hold off on her mic. Is that cool?
Yeah. I bring her in at 8:15.
Okay.
Welcome to Abundance Child Live. This is episode 7, Beyond Juneteenth. Beyond Juneteenth, featuring Sister Tahira. We are grateful to be here on WJVSradio.com. Please make sure you tune in for the audio at WJVSradio.com. We do have an app. We can, I'm trying to tell you, it is the dopest. Generation X music. You will not be disappointed. Just have it playing on your desktop whenever you can. I'm your host, Abundance Child. This is my husband.
Vocalist John Carr, a star from another galaxy, a soldier of love, and I do mean love in all languages, y'all. Hooah! Hooah!
Hooah. So we're going to get started right away with our prayer because I always get to talking and things like that. So I just want to do what we always do, everybody.
Give thanks.
We give thanks. We give thanks and praises to the Most High, first and foremost, to the Arumale, to the Arisha, to our Egbe, to our personal Oris. We give thanks to our ancestors, our collective ancestors, the ones that made that this day happen. We give thanks also to the earth that we are in. We just give thanks to all of our listeners and all of your ancestors. We ask that everybody's raised up, everybody's always refined, and that we are able to make it through this day in our life with Ire Bobo. All right, so I wanted to talk about beyond Juneteenth because there's a lot of Juneteenths happening, but I just wanted to give it from the goddess's mouth.
Come on.
Really what beyond Juneteenth is. So, people don't have to be making up stories. And it really started as just a place to gather and economically a place for me to make more money at Drop Squad Kitchen. And I had a host of DJs, I've just a beautiful network of souls that I felt like we could do something on Juneteenth. And why Juneteenth? Because in this country, the so-called story and the narrative that we were taught was that we all came from slaves. That's what I learned in my household because I just grew up in a standard American household and went to Holy Cross and we watched Roots and it changed my life in 5th grade. I was like, so that's why we're here. We were slaves. Everybody had a Kunta Kinte experience. And so with rolling out with that experience came the whole, Martin Luther King Day. What else did we do? Just Kwanzaa's, the regular African-American Afrocentric things is what I grew up with. And Juneteenth was always about how we were emancipated in 1863, but the news didn't get down to people in Texas and so forth. And I just felt like, being in the Morris Divine and National Movement and finding out other things about us always having been here as Indigenous people, whether we were the true Mesoamericans or whether we were continental Africans that had traveled and made it over to this land, I felt like we needed to have a story that reflected the people that are living ancestors today. And so that's when I invited, I think it was DJ Supreme down, and we had a barbecue out on the deck. We had fireworks. We went hard with Sister Shakira Hunt and Seven God. We had a whole photo shoot. I remember borrowing Io Lakunle's green outfit, and I had my Iru Kere, which is, something that we used to bless people with in Ifa. And it was really well received. I remember making about 3K that day and those few amount of hours. So it was a great economical experience for one of the only brown people in the riverfront at the time and the first brown people to ever be in the riverfront. And for sure, the first brown woman to be in the riverfront. So just some veggie burgers and some V-ribs on the grill, some drums, some good music. And it was a call for our people for something that we had in common, which was the experience that led to Juneteenth now being a national holiday. And it just wasn't enough. And I didn't know how I was going to move forward or what I was going to do. But Brother Iz called me up and was like, yo, I have some news. The Delaware Art Museum love what you do at the riverfront. Would you consider partnering with us? I'm like, what? Like, what kind of question? So yeah, we made that happen and had a big old committee. I don't know if you remember, I had like all the elders around here on the committee. We met like once a month and then once a week. We brought the gungun out and things like that. But I still felt like it was still kind of corny to me. It was going for the festival that I really didn't want to have. I didn't want to have the stereotypical festival where we just show up and we vend, and everybody's kumbaya for that day, but it's really no, like, there's no real impact that we can say and talk about for the rest of the year. So I wanted us to really start practicing sovereignty and in a way that we could see it at the festival. So we tried a few different things. We had a symposium where we had, like, even people like Taj Tariq Bey coming out and talking. King Simon came all the way from Florida or Georgia at the time. My Oluwo came. He brought people. It was a big thing. But then I don't think Delaware was ready for that.
Right.
To have a symposium like that, meaning we had the whole Delaware Art Museum was blocked off. Like, every room had something going on.
Wow.
And I just don't think that people were ready for that. But when the next year, the hip hop symposium was exactly that. But hip hop, I guess, seems more like, relative. So now here we are, and I'm saying the same things. And I'm saying that it's a holiday that started out asking, what is this that we're trying to reclaim right now? And to me, I felt like if we're really living ancestors, then that's the part that I want to roll with. I want to roll with a festival that really honors the ancestors. And it wasn't something that, like the first year, it wasn't really about that. The first year was just trying to bring everybody together for Juneteenth and doing something with people that look like me so that we can fellowship. The next year, I got an EFI reading that said, you need to be appeasing your ancestors. You need to do a festival. I'm like, what does that look like? And so that's why I decided to bring out the Egungun. But the real reason I really wanted to do this show was because I wanted people to know that we keep celebrating this mythology of what people have given us. And most of that looks like our only stories that we came over here on boats, right, and that we were slaves, and that we found out later on that we were free, and all these things at the hands of other people. I'm like, well, where are we now? Where are we beyond Juneteenth? And that is the spirit of where I would like to take this festival, is beyond Juneteenth, honoring the old by making sure that we collectively honor our ancestors with the people that are around here. Like, I personally don't know exactly what tribe per se that my family comes from. I don't know what tribe you came from, but I know that for some reason we incarnated in this lifetime where the United States is where it's geopolitically called the United States. They created all these boundaries, but we decided to be here, and we're a whole ethnic group. We really are. So-called African Americans are our own ethnic group now. So what are we doing now to get rid of some of the reasons why we ended up here, any of the taboos, any of the generational curses? When are we going to come together as a family, as a community in where we're at, which is Wilmington, Delaware, right, and everybody put their prayers on the table in front of everybody? That's what I want beyond Juneteenth to be about. So this year in Fusco Hall, we will have the ancestral shrine. It is a shrine because I do have the ancestral pots that I received from my godmother, Iya Olukunle, back in like 2003. Also, sure, I was initiated to Egungun, so I am going to bring my Egungun out there. I'm going to bring the masquerades out there. But my sister, Arisha Funmilayo, Egun Leti, is also going to be assisting us to usher in other people's prayers. So if people want to email me at beyondjuneteenth@gmail.com, a photo of an ancestor that you would like for us to pray over, you can email us at beyondjuneteenth@gmail.com. I will frame the photo and put it on the altar, and you can take that photo home. It is a $10 charge, so you will cash app Abundance Child for the $10. But also, not only will you get for that $10 a photo frame and your prayers that you offer in via your email, you will also get some ancestor money that we can burn. And we can make sure that the ancestors in the beyond are doing well successfully financially,
Right.
so that we can do well on this realm. Because I know a lot, everywhere I go, people are like, oh, I didn't pay my rent, oh, I didn't pay my mortgage, or I don't have this, or my lights are about to get cut off, my phone is about to get cut off. And it's not just about the financial things, but I really want us to understand that we are all here in a rotation based off of karma. And we are having these collective experiences so that our soul can evolve. And we are geographically here in the same place. I know we love Africa and we love Native American culture and stuff like that, but right here in the city of Wilmington, we have real issues with mores,
Right.
values, and things like that. We have real issues with people not marrying each other. We have real issues with people not having partnerships and being able to co-parent. A lot of we've talked about on previous shows, we have, women still raising women and men by themselves. So I think that we need to have some collective prayers, and that that's what Beyond Juneteenth is for. But it's also a celebration. So that's why we're going to have our guests that we have on tonight, Sister Tahira.
Yeah.
We featuring Darnell Miller. We are going to have Virtual Soul featuring the legend John Carr. We are going to have another legend, Papa Denbe. We also have Pieces of a Dream. This is an amazing lineup for such a beautiful celebration that is not about where we were, but about where we are going.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to do is what Ifa Kunle talked about last night on King Simon's show, was bridging the culture with the spirituality. At some point, we need to be having these types of conversations. So I do want to take a break because it is about 13 minutes after the hour, and I wanted to bring on our beautiful guest at 8:15. And so I want to take a commercial break so that we could come back. And what's happening? Okay. So we can come back with our guest, Sister Tahira, and she is the perfect person that I felt like we could segue into bridging culture and spirituality. And how do we do that? Because she's somebody that I have seen ever since I met her, that I feel like kind of walks that line anyway.
Wow.
She has a language that she just speaks, like, how I say, a preacher love. She'd be like, well, I love you black. I'd be like, okay. Or she'd be like, asante sada. Or it could be too loud in the room. I go. So I want to know, I want to learn from her, from somebody who I always forget she's my elder. But that's the thing. That's the thing, though. I want to see more of those types of things. Right. Happen in our community. I want to see more these types of relationships evolve in our community. So I chose someone that I felt like really walks that walk and is a divine reflection of that. So be right back after the break.
I know you like to hear your song. Let me turn it up.
It's YouTube. You were live, so I don't know if they can hear me. Yeah, we're live on everything.
Unapologetically healthy food is wealth, where you invested in yourself. Come to our place, Trap Squad.
All right, don't we have another commercial? King Simon. Excuse me.
Don't worry, your mic was down on that one.
New innovation with King Simon. Text me now at 347-496-1022. You can also take my course if you want to, but do text me for your sessions at 347-496-1022. You can also get my books on Amazon at Linktree/King Simon the New Innovator. Remember, you can book your session and get it done right now. 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. King Simon the New Innovator.
All right. We're back with Abundance Child Live right here on WJVSradio.com. What's up to YouTube? What's up to Facebook, where we are live? Again, I chose tonight's guest as someone to me who has lived out the memory out loud since I've known her. She is a solid citizen of the earth. Not talking about no United States, no state of Delaware, no Wilmington. I'm talking about globally. I'm talking about spirit right now. She's a sacred sister. She's a cultural torchbearer. She's a daughter. She's a mother. She's a vessel to me for the next generation, especially with her story telling. And every time, she walks in the room, she affirms all of the things that I'm saying. So without any further ado, my sister Tahira.
Hey, thank you for that warm introduction. Thank you. I'm always honored to be in your presence. And there's always laughter.
I know.
Always knowledge.
Jokes.
And always all the things, right?
Yes, it is.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, you were at the very first Beyond Juneteenth, and you've been a Drop Squad Kitchen customer since my text list. You've been a Drop Squad Kitchen customer before it was even Drop Squad Kitchen. It was Molly's old fashioned.
In the corner.
Right, that falafel.
In the corner.
She used to love the cake falafel.
Yes.
So you heard me say, or maybe you heard me. You might have read what I wrote, that Beyond Juneteenth isn't enough. That we need to go beyond it. Do you have any feeling about that, or does that mean anything to you when I say stuff like that?
It means a lot to me. So I'm a word person. I live my life with words. I metabolize life with words, and in that metabolism, what comes forth is things to heal and inspire first me, and honor those before me, and then those are around me. So the word beyond. And I sat with that. It is my hope that what beyond means is that we're still connected, right, to what came before, and then we're moving forward with something else as well. In your introduction to this show, I heard you say bridging the gap, or bridging the culture with spirituality. There is no culture without spirituality.
Wow. Facts.
If there's somebody telling you that, that's
right, end of show.
It's just that's oxymoron. So that continuity is important to me. That continuity of remember our resilience from the beginning of time, all the way through all of our experiences.
Right, not just slavery.
Not just right. And let's look at language. I heard the word slave. I heard the word slavery, and my whole skin is activated. So we were never slaves.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
We had an enslaved bondage experience, right?
Prisoner of war experience.
Right, a prisoner of war experience. And at all times we were resisting in micro and macro ways. All right. And so to use the language of our oppressor is problematic.
Yes.
All right. We ain't going to spend a lot of time on the oppressor stuff.
Thank you.
That is problematic. But to say that we are going beyond the oppressive systems that have existed and continue to exist, and we are telling the story of those who came before and how their lived experience shows up in present day, and then how we move those experiences in our present day to remember our resiliency, to remember our joy, because Black joy is a revolutionary act.
Yes, it is.
And to remember that everything we do in this moment is in preparation for the next.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love I love the changing of the narrative. Especially we're in this new age of information. We're going towards this new age of information. So there is a lot of things that we're being presented from all angles. And that is another reason why I wanted to speak to you. So did you grow up in a 2-parent household?
Two-parent and multi-generational.
I love that.
See, so, and even though it came a point in my lifetime that my mother and father lived in different houses, right? The other presence of both of my parents in all of my experiences. There were people who went to school with me and knew me for 15, 20 years, never knew that my parents at one time had separate households. They never knew it. Because if there's a barbecue happened, a 3-day weekend, a baby shower, every recital I had, my Baba was there. More my Baba than my mama, because my mama was working. My Baba, he unshackled himself from the employment stuff pretty early in life.
Hey,
now I know where I get it from.
Baba.
I like it. Unshackled, huh?
He unshackled himself. So by the time I was in fifth grade, my father was, free from that, and he was traveling to the Caribbean. He was traveling to West Africa and tracing our history. So I grew up and multi-generational. So my maternal grandparents was in the house as well. And they
Wow,
were married
love
for
it.
72 years.
Wow.
Ooh,
I'm just
that's
like
what I'm
that.
talking
Just
about.
gonna let that
Everybody give me a
marinate
round
on
of
it.
applause. Yes.
You know what I mean? That's where I come from.
And that's real.
And that's real.
And
It's
I
real.
really want that for me. Like, I love that my daughter lives with us. She's having a baby. That baby will live with us. My other daughter lives with us.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend, who's also my
Mhm.
godson, lives with us. And we are all here in the studio. And, you know, I'm talking to my mother about it. And she's like, I think I feel where you're going with this. She's like, and if I don't do it, this is the money from your inheritance. And if something, you know, happens to me, and listen, we'll just take this out of your inheritance so you can get this land that you want, you know?
Yeah.
But I like the fact that, and she's even talking to her siblings about it, but I really feel like going outside of the country and seeing multi-generations in the household, nobody's just kicking their children out at 16 like we do in this society.
Yeah.
And I think now more than ever, for survival, we need to go back to something like what you had. So, or what you said that you grew up with. So what did culture look like? Because I'm hearing Baba. Did you call him Baba?
No. I called him Daddy.
Okay.
My daddy. He called all his, so it was 5 girls and 2 boys. He called all his girls Monkey, you know. And check it out, because one of the things, my father always celebrated blackness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he used to brag that the only thing white in him was his pearly white teeth,
Mm-hmm.
right? His palm of his hands and the bottom of his feet was my color,
Okay.
right? And so he always reclaimed words, so that monkey used to be
like
something that was said derogatory toward, you know, black folks. Reclaim it. Hey, baby. Hey, monkey. You know what I mean?
How did he feel about the reclaiming of the word nigga?
Well, now that's interesting, because we parted ways on that.
Oh,
See,
wow.
I have no use for that word, right? And I know the moment that it happened, it was 1979. And I saw Richard Pryor. He came back and did his first stand-up after his incident with catching on fire, and traveling to Africa. And he realized I ain't see no N words there. Look it up, y'all. It's a powerful thing. 1979.
Yeah,
and I don't have. We are wordsmiths. I'm not taking the language that was used to oppress, then repurpose it in a way that then says, "Oh, if you spell it this way, this is my personal opinion. It doesn't serve my spirit."
Right.
I understand.
It don't serve my spirit.
I think that's valid. Yeah, and I think that we all should be able to say something doesn't serve our spirit and then move on.
And not separate each other. Then somebody was doing it, you know, you do your thing. You know what I mean? But just like with Juneteenth, one of the things I loved about what you said about beyond Juneteenth is acknowledging our presence before these boundaries.
Yes.
The work of Runoko Rashidi, you know, all those decades. Please look him up.
I had him on my show back in the day.
Oh, yes, YouTube show, right?
My blog talk. Yeah.
Your blog talk. Okay.
Yes.
But he documented, he was an anthropologist, a historian. He documented actual bones, remains of Africans in every continent on this here thing we call Earth. And it is important that we know that. You know what I mean? That it's found in Japan and it's found in the Caribbean, wherever, long before the colonizers knew how to colonize. Right? You feel me? So that beyond Juneteenth is most certainly about knowing we have existed since the beginning of time. They even have documentation and admit that the Black woman is the first woman of all people, right? And this is where all human.
Starts off.
Come on.
This is where humanity started. But that is not to ignore. That's not to ignore the period of bondage, the period of enslavement. It's not to ignore that, but know that that whole period is really the oppressor, the white man's history. That's what he did.
Thank you.
Understand? And our victory is our story.
Yes.
I love it.
Okay, so you say
hype.
So was there a level of consciousness? Well, you did say that your father made sure to include culture. Do you think that was different than like your peers and things like that? Did you notice at some point? Did you notice there was a difference between how you were being raised and your peers?
You know, I didn't notice till I went to high school.
Okay.
We were so shy, and I went to public school. I went to public elementary school, and the same public elementary school my mother's and her sibling went to, Walter George Smith Elementary School in South Philadelphia. Walked down the street. I mean, generations had went there, but we were so sheltered in that, my father and mother was like, we didn't dine out. We had meals at home. Kindergarten, half day kindergarten, my grandparents was home. It wasn't a lot of time to be, to be honest, to be with a lot of other people. And then my mother had a sister who had 5 kids, and each one of them was one of our age. So it was the family was the community, So I didn't know it was different. I did notice that we all wore, so my oldest sister and brothers, wore what we call back there bush. And I remember my mother going up to the school and being upset and coming back, and she was upset because they told my mother that my sister's hair was a distraction and she was going to be suspended. It was a distraction. Now we all know, we know even right now that the way, wearing your hair locked, braided, is illegal in many states in the United States of America. Illegal, right? And against school policy and all that. So my mother was fighting this fight in the early 70s, right? She was fighting this fight. So my father was a culturally conscious man. He was a Pan-African.
Okay.
But that's the language we used in my house. That was the language I used growing up. So we expected, and then when somebody else was using other language, my father wouldn't say Negro, he would say need to grow, Need to grow. Need to grow.
I love it.
Needs to grow. And he's not worrying. My mother and father not worrying about what other people are doing. They're not worrying about it. They don't come home saying, well, this person did this or this person did. That's not language you can even bring into.
I wasn't allowed to do that either.
Just wasn't allowed to. Well, such and such did such. No. I would know what you did.
Right.
I want to know what you did.
They don't live in this house, and I'm not such and such as parents.
That's right.
Yes, I grew up with that too.
I grew up with that. So, and I also grew up in terms of culture and joy. I grew up on my father's knee and him having me commit to memory Parlance Dunbar, having him commit to memory Langston Hughes, and it was hard. It was hard. I didn't want to do it. Or driving down the street and looking up at the sky at the clouds and him saying, "What do you see?"
Okay, so you got permission very early as a part of the culture of your household to be yourself early on. But when did you, Tahira, give permission to be yourself? I'm only saying that because you're talking about that, but me doing research, I was like, wait, I saw the straight hair for a minute.
Oh, yes.
But I personally have never seen it. I mean, of course, I had that too. So that's why it made me ask, your parents gave you the permission, but when did you give your permission?
This is so deep. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to take long. All right. Okay. So when my father went to West Africa, he met a brother named Justice. And Justice soon, a year after meeting my father, they connected. He came to America and he looked my father up and he stayed here in the 20 plus years. All but one permed their hair by now. And he was like, what happened? How did this happen, Justice? How's my daughter straightening her hair? And Justice turned to now this is the guy's son teaching the godfather. He turned to my father and said, you can't get an apple from an orange tree. She will return. They will return. Wow. It may look like it's an apple right now, but they will return. And all of us are back to natural, right?
Oh my goodness.
And that's like he didn't see it in his living time, though. He didn't see it in his living time. You understand what I'm saying? And when Justice said that my father cried, my father never let me know I disappointed him. He never let me know that.
That's a whole lesson in parenting right there.
Hearing that from Justice, I felt broken. I felt like, oh my goodness, I didn't know. I mean, it really was hard to hear that. It was hard to, but it was a reminder to me as a parent, though.
That's what I was, yes.
As a parent, that what that must have been for my father to see that, to know and wait, and not even be able to see it in his lifetime. And then I came back home. I came back. My father's locks was down. My father's locks in the 70s were beyond his butt. All right. Oh, yeah. My father's locks were in a time where black men in Philadelphia, where black men were stopped in the street by Frank Rizzo police commissioners, stripped nude. You understand? Come on, tell the story. Y'all can look it up.
Right.
Look up the move. Look up
Move. Yes.
Look up Move. But I say that
we just came up on the anniversary.
Yes, we did, May 13th. Mm-hmm. And I say that to say that, how did I know that? Of course you lose your. Of course you want to try out. I couldn't wait. Soon, my grandmother did all of our hair, all of my 5 sisters, all of my cousins. We lined up outside her door. We did her hair. The moment that was over, I was straight to the perm.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I want to be like everybody else. So again, like John, I didn't know that book my father, and hearing that was like, wow. But it taught me as a parent that there's gonna be those moments. There's gonna be those moments. Right. There's gonna be those mommoments. And
I'm gonna check
what did I do? Yes.
Okay, so 30 minutes after the hour, of course, this is Abundance Show Live. I have my guest Tahira. I have my anchor, my husband, John Carr. I'm enjoying this conversation. My head is actually spinning because a lot of the things she's saying, I actually hear from you. Now, he's the 12th of 16 children. Same mother, same father.
16. Oh, my goodness.
You know what I mean?
Never a dull moment.
No, right. How's the bathroom schedule? Anyway,
you know,
the bathroom schedule in my house.
I'm thinking about all
we used to walk in on each other, depending on who's in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm coming in.
Yeah.
Coming in.
Yeah,
somebody could have been in the shower. I got to use it real bad.
Let's do it. Yeah. It's like that. We had a schedule.
But the thing that I heard was community.
Yes.
That like your whole family was the community.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I hear from him all the time. So I love the work that we do because it's not something like we had to make up. Like this is where he came from. This is who he is. Yeah. And I feel like you can smell it. You know how people be like, oh, you come from good stock. I can smell it on y'all. So that's why I have all these questions. Now, my next question is, I had the question about the hair. So you gave me that one. My other question was, with so many people entering the new consciousness right now, do you know, like, I remember just being in Delaware and my daughter getting bullied for having locks. I remember being one of the first people around here for my generation to have locks. Not saying that there weren't like Sister Nzingas, but for my generation, no. Okay. I'm one of those people. It was like Nafare, myself, people from the rites of passage.
That's right.
Mama Lita's people. Right. Like, I was rolling with those people. We just honored
Mama Lita just a week ago.
Yes, and I was when I had just came back from Atlanta, so consciousness looked different to me. It's so, I've always been like a stuck-up conscious person. I mean, I'm admit it. Like,
what's a stuck-up conscious person?
Meaning, like, it just wasn't enough for me. If I was in Atlanta and I was constantly around Hebrew Israelites, Nation of Islam, Nation of Gods and Earth, Sunni, Yoruba, Igbo, and I come back to Delaware and all they have is this like rites of passage with the drumming and the kente cloth, and I just was like, this is so I don't want to do this. I wanted something more metaphysical. I wanted something more like kind of the things that I do now. Okay. If I would do it over, the sisterhood and just the learning and going through something, I would have
community of it.
I would have done it because those sisters are still. I just happen to be friends with those people, but I'm just saying there is a sisterhood in that, and but I also found out when I got initiated to Ifa that, and it's also in my birth chart, like I'm not a joiner. Okay. Like it's almost taboo for me to be a joiner. Like I am here to start my own thing and go my own way, which I did not know. Yeah. I've always wondered, why don't I want to be like, I was an AKA debutante and I was fascinated by that. But when it came down to, are you going to be adult? Are you going to be AKA? Are you going to be, and I was just like, I just don't feel like I want to be any of those things. I wanted to be a part of like Nzinga, but I had moved back up to Delaware. So there wasn't anything like that. And when I went to a few of the things for Rites of Passage, I was just like, oh my God, this just feels so Kwanzaa. Like, you know, like the Kwanzaa, like the stereotypical Kwanzaa celebrations and stuff like that, where it's always the same kind of thing.
Right.
I guess it's all about perspective. Because when you say it was like Kwanzaa, so Kwanzaa.
No, not
1 second.
Okay.
Kwanzaa started in 1960s, and I started celebrating 1979. Right. So it was for me this radical thing because everybody else is doing Christmas, and this is rooted in
I love that
our experience here, right? So maybe that's what you mean by
I'm trying to kind of clean it up because my parents had us doing Kwanzaa. We were doing it with Alicia Clark and Jack and her mom, and this was in the 80s. So it's not that. It's just the same things that I see happening at these events that I was just kind of like, I wanted something more, something deeper, something beyond. More beyond.
That
something
word,
maybe
beyond.
spiritual.
And that was your path. Path. But let us be careful.
Yeah, because I didn't want to like disrespect anyone, but I'm trying to explain it. Like the thing that I was missing is like what I received from Mama Carlene and like Mama Tassili and things like that. And it was just you just have to experience it to know what I'm talking about. But so now there's like a resurgence of, I noticed like online, barely, my daughter says to me, like for a while, for like maybe 5 to 10 years, people were like, oh my God, when did you start your natural hair? And she's like, I don't know anything else.
That's all I had.
Right. You know? Or, when did you become vegan? And she's like, my whole life. But now it's like the thing. So
then say, yay, it's the thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yay is the thing. You understand? However you come to it, whatever door you come in, come on in here and get this black.
I love
joy.
it. I
come
love
on
it.
in here and get this consciousness.
See, Mama
come
is
on
speaking.
In. It is okay. We are not going to separate ourselves by where we entered the knowledge, because we're all continually learning, right? And even if some folks, because when I hear some people talk about how they even like maintain their lives, my eyes go, I'm like, what are y'all doing? You're doing a what?
See, this is what? So this is kind of
come on in.
Okay, I love to come on in.
On in, have a seat.
Like,
let's talk about it. I said, really? Is that what you do?
Yeah.
Hey, come on in, because with every generation comes new language, new music, new tools, new resources,
and it ain't even new.
And none of it is, because my father said, "There's no new ideas under the sun. Just a new idea that time has come." So, I mean, it's okay if you think it's new. I'm not separating you, and I believe in learning from young people. I love being around young people. I mean, young people. Babies, teenagers, 20-year-olds. I have colleagues 30 years, my junior, and we learn from them. So if they came in another door, if they saw something on Instagram, was like, I want my hair like her, and her hair is natural. Okay. And that's how you get beyond Juneteenth. You understand what I'm saying? Not divide each other. Let's get beyond the things that divide.
I definitely didn't create Beyond Juneteenth to be divisive, because I'm somebody who showed up at all of those things. I show up. My children were always at all the Kwanzaa celebrations. Whether I felt like we should be doing Kwanzaa or not. Like I wanted to be around people who were doing those types of things. It was, I think there's a part of me that feels like doing the things that we have been doing, like you said, since the 60s, but yet we still have not progressed really since segregation. What are some of the things that you feel like that you would like to see for Ananatawa and Imani? For that generation and their children. Right. What would you like to see different coming out of our village, our community?
All right. And Imani is my daughter.
Oh, yes, my bad.
No, that's all good. Like right now. That's all good. What I would like to see is, first, before I say what I like to see, I would like to listen. I would like to listen and see what their vision is. I do. I mean, because you know what I mean?
That's that connection with the youth.
Right. That's that connection with the youth. I like to listen. You know what I mean? Because they come here, Living Answers, they come here with a mission. They come here with a message.
Let us not forget that.
Let us not forget that. And then after I listen, one of the things, just in my 6 decades of being on the planet, what I like to see is for them to have a sense of fearlessness and in their walk. That when they walk in the room, like you said, you can smell it. When they walk in the room, everybody know. Everybody know, and
like they got their
fierce-
ancestors
They
with
got
them.
their ancestors
Yeah.
with them, and they're fierce about it, and they're courageous without saying anything.
Right. Wow.
That kind of
That's
freedom.
power.
You know what I mean? That's power.
That's power.
That kind of freedom, and no matter what spaces they move in, and what the people look like in those spaces, they walk with fierceness, and they walk with resiliency, remembering all of it, and they got something else to say too. They walking with the ancestors. They don't walk alone, but they're in that space too, occupying that space for a reason. I say, listen to our young people.
Yeah, that's why I created Drop Squad Institute.
Yeah.
You know, we Drop Squad Kitchen now operates as a program for Drop Squad Institute because I said the best way to give people the Drop Squad experience is to teach it to them.
Yes.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Yeah, so that's where we're going with that. So,
I have a question for Tahira.
Hold on one second, just 1 second. Please hold your question because I do want to let people know that we are live on WJVSradio.com. This is Abundance Child Live. Our special guest is Sister Tahira. You can go to www.Tahira Tahira Productions.com.
Yeah.
Also, don't want to forget that there is a residency that I want you to tell people about with the City Fest. Also, we have a few announcements that we have beyond Juneteenth, obviously June 19th at Delaware Art Museum from 4 to 8 p.m. From 4 to 6 will be the communal, collective, ancestral offering. And then from 5 to 8 will be all of the performances. Of course, we have Sister Tahira featuring Darnell Miller. We have Pieces of a Dream. We have Papa Dembe. And we have Virtual Soul featuring John Carr. Of course, hosted by yourself, Abundance Child, and Sister Naja. And Drop Squad Kitchen will be the only food vendor. Big ups, big ups, big ups.
Yes.
We also have a cooking class happening at Moore's Culture Center. That's at 715 North King Street. That's happening June 22nd from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I am going to be teaching people how to use lentils to make your own meat, whether it's meatloaf, meatballs, spaghetti, tacos. So we're going to do 2 things that day. We're also making fresh pressed juice, and I'm going to be showing people how to use the pulp to make other things like cookies
so
or...
don't throw it out.
No waste not.
Whatnot.
Also, don't forget to support my husband JC at jcalignment.com. That's jcalignment.com. If you are interested in just losing weight, like a person like myself, I take his classes. It's amazing breath work, and he does a lot of drills for the body that really help you to attune your body, as well as I learned just in finding my voice and being able to speak and being able to have the breath and the endurance to be able to do that. He's doing amazing work with working with people all around the world by doing classes on Zoom. And also there's a Marvin Gaye day party. He does an amazing impression of Marvin Gaye singing his songs. And that is going to be on June 28th, 2025 from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at 1473 South 8th Street in Camden, New Jersey. Please don't forget to follow us at WJVS on Instagram and on Facebook, at Abundance Child on Instagram, on everything. So, and again, Tahira Productions, www.tahiraproductions.com. Now that I got all that out, will you please ask your question?
Do you feel, Sister Tahira, that there is a disconnect with the youth, with the older generation and the youth?
Well, I guess what.
Because I've been hearing that.
Older, what's younger? What when you say youth and older, what's your age range we talking? Or just overall?
Under my age.
Under your and then young people. Oh, that's a good question. That's not my experience.
Okay, good.
Come on in.
But here's the thing. I've been doing storytelling for 3 decades, right? And I'm in juvenile detention centers, I'm in high schools, I'm in middle schools, I'm in libraries, I'm at festivals, right? And when I come into the room, I feel a connection to young people, and they smell it, right? And they feel the love from me. And even I just did a middle school program in Philadelphia, and 8th graders, right? And I come in, earbuds on, hoodies off.
So outside of yourself, do you see that there's a disconnection between elders and youth outside of somebody, who has your upbringing and your spirit?
Right. I bring my experience into, not to say there's something special about me, but to say when children feel the energy of love that has entered the room,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
they rise to it.
Because
I don't care what their circumstances, they rise to it.
what I have experienced is everyone who was saying that didn't have that love. They wasn't projecting that love.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's just like, this generation.
The
No.
wagging of the finger. You coming in there wagging of the finger? Yeah. What human wants to connect with someone who enters the room in judgment, and that judgment is negative? What
Right.
human?
Right.
What human? That's all. So it's not my experience in terms of like something special or whatever. Enter the room listening. Enter the room with love. And that disconnect you may think that exists, I don't believe it does.
For sure.
Peace to my sister Charmaine, all the way from Atlanta. Oh my God, she's always been a supporter. I just saw that she was on. She said, "You have always marched to your own beat." Oh,
Ashe.
yeah. So give thanks. Oh, I'm learning. I'm learning from King Simon. I don't know how he be working his board.
All the things.
Peace,
right?
peace to King Simon, one of our sponsors for the show. I want to talk about how did you get into professionally being a storyteller, because I don't think that when I met you, I knew that was your thing, but that wasn't like your all day thing.
Oh, it was.
It was?
It was.
Wow.
I've been doing it for full time for 30 years.
Yeah, no, that's because I met Kamisha around one. Yeah, I met you.
It
Shorty.
was. And it happened the day that, the ancestors, the spirit said, this is for you to do. I was at a museum, my baby girl, she was barely one, Philadelphia Peace Touch Museum. It was a storyteller there.
I love that place. We all love that place.
I love that place. Charlotte Blake Austin. She was there doing Kwanzaa programs. And I was sitting there like really confused because I was like, wait a minute, I do Kwanzaa programs. My daddy do Kwanzaa programs. We go around the city. How is she in this museum? We were always in spaces where it was,
Yeah.
I said, how is she in this museum? So my father would say, ask somebody, I walked up and asked her. She said, I belong to an organization called the National Association of Black Storytellers. I'm like, wait, there's more than one of you? What? She's like, and there's an affiliate in Philadelphia called the Keepers of the Culture, COSI. And I was blown because this is stuff I grew up with and just did. And she's telling me she's in this museum. And then she said she got paid. I was like, wait. So from that, within a year, I had joined the National Association of Black Storytellers. I had joined Keepers of the Culture, and I had left my corporate job.
I love it.
Wow. I love
Yeah,
that.
for
I
some
saw it.
reason,
I
I
saw
think you were introduced as like, this is what she does. And it wasn't the storytelling. I remember you being like a corporate person and like very astute in that world.
And it's funny, like, I rarely performed in Delaware.
Okay.
Even now, not too often. I'm trying to get more work here in Delaware so I can travel less. But I moved around quietly. And one of the things that made me successful as a performing artist is because I came out of that corporate environment, and so when I got this, and you, John, you'll appreciate this as a musician. When I was talking to people about how to become a full-time artist, the musicians were saying stuff like, "Oh, well, you got to earn your chops, and you got to come in and work for free, and you got to do." I'm like,
who you think you're talking to? No, I'm just kidding.
But this is freaking America. Where they work for free?
Yeah.
I was beyond Juneteenth.
I was told the same thing. I was
like, what are we talking about?
I was told the same exact thing. You got to be humble in this business. You got to do some stuff for free. When they asked, I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it.
What's
I went along with common sense.
Common sense.
And
after a while, what I did, and that's not to say I didn't want to learn or grow in knowledge. My first thing was to do it at my daughter's school. You know what I mean? That's what my father did. He used to come in and do things. Do it at my daughter's school. Do it at my niece's school. Do it at my neighbor's school. Where I want to be. Where I want to give. Where I was volunteering anyway. Instead of being on the bus telling the kids to sit down, I'm going to tell y'all a story. So I was practicing with the people that I love.
I love it.
And then when it was time to get paid, I went to what was Borders Books back then and said, I tell you what. They said, we don't pay our performers. I said, not a problem. Pay me in books. I need books. I'm a new story that pay me in books. Y'all think right there, pay me in books. They was like, bet. And I did every Borders books in the tri-state area for like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I do want to talk about women to black.
That's what I'm saying. Can we please talk about?
So now that from the early beginnings of seeing Charlotte Blake Austin at Peace Touch Museum, I now bring together storytellers from all over the country, and they come to Wilmington. This is our 4th year. Shout out to the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs. Shout out to Tina Best.
Big up to
Shout
Tina
out to
Best.
Jonathan Whitney.
Jonathan, oh, I love him. Yes.
Jonathan Whitney, because they came to me and they said, "Oh, we do the Boise Laurie Jazz Residency," and we thought, "What's the next thing?" They said storytelling, because all art tells stories.
Yes.
And Jonathan said it was only one person to call, and he called me. And it's been 4 years straight.
Yes.
Black storytellers from all over the country come to Wilmington for 1 week. This year they'll be here from July 20th, July 27th, and they'll be doing their culminating event. They're studying under me and Dr. Carly Spink Reed and Emily Hooper Lansana. They're coming to study and learn Black people's experience in what we now call Delaware. And they're going to take that knowledge and do an original piece. They must come and do an original piece based on what the knowledge we pour into them. And they're going to do that. You need, come on now. Not you need to, but I would love it. Saturday, July 26th, 6 p.m. at the Tina Best Urban Arts Exchange. Saturday, July 26th at 6 p.m. at the Tina Best Urban Arts Exchange. They will be doing their culminating event. But you're going to see them around. You're going to see them walking up and down Market Street. We've got folks from California, Detroit, Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Virginia, Maryland, all over the country, coming here for the 4th year in a row for the Wilmington Black Storytelling Residency.
That's beautiful.
Oh, this has been an amazing show. I feel like I got to learn so much about you, and I love how you hold your ground. I love how she was even about her, like, well, what you mean, Kwanzaa? Like, what you trying to say? Because I'm gonna tell you, like, we been doing it. Right. And often,
we always kick it. Honestly,
yeah, but I just feel also like sometimes you could be misunderstood. So that's why I'm glad that you really helped me to really get out what I'm trying to say. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's a vibe. It's like there's a lot, there's a lot of vegan, restaurants, and I wasn't the first. I'm just the first that people know about it in Delaware as far as a vegan restaurant. The Drop Squad was an experience. It was something that I have never experienced before, and that's what I was saying, that I was looking for that type of energy when I came back. But at the same time, the world it just wasn't the time. So if you're for somebody who's from New York or you're from DC, there's a different cultural experience than you might get from Delaware. And I think when I came back here, remember I came back here from Atlanta with a bald head, vegan, baby on my back, wearing red clay, and
you wonder why you was looking at things sideways, like in Delaware. Like, I'm just saying that, but I just say that, and I think it's in youthfulness that we do.
But I used to just stay in like Hanifa's bookstore and stuff like that. But like I was looking for that, like that type of, like I was looking for Nzinga. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
And you brought that energy wherever you went. But what I want to say about this is that I think in our youth we think that if something walk into a space and it's not what we need, that the space is somehow in error or not correct.
Yeah.
And when our youth, we think that, right? But it may just be that you need to make a new space and make it something else. But let's not build walls around each other. And like I said, whoever's coming to the table, coming in the room,
Juneteenth.
Beyond that, come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's change our language. Please stop. Please stop.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
We were slaves, nation slaves. We came on a boat. Okay. I'm sorry for the sound guy. Just got loud.
It's all good.
Yeah, we all of our experiences bring them to the table. Yeah. All of our experiences are also speaking to our ancestors and what they've been through, and it's a story of resilience. I'm gonna keep saying it because resiliency is a powerful thing.
Yeah, I also think
it was built to destroy us, and it did not.
I also think wherever you go, there you are. Like, if we are really our ancestors, we're an extension of whatever they went through and what they did. So what I like about doing something in Delaware at Delaware Art Museum in the One Night 806 is very important to me, because I didn't just say only brown people bring your ancestor altars. I want to talk to the ancestors of you and you with the blonde hair and the blue eyes. Like, it's time for all of us to elevate, because we all have to live here together. So I'm not even talking about like being on, and I hate that we have to say that, but I know people are gonna know what I'm saying. This is why I would love to do that residency, learning how to really express myself and be able to tell my story without having to offend people, because I'm constantly the offender. I'm constantly, trust me, I constantly offend people, and my husband is always like, please express yourself. But I'm learning about tone. I'm also learning about, like you said, language, because my sister Chanel says all the time, like, for the people who don't know your heart, it's a shame. Like, you're really misunderstood. But if they knew your heart, they know she didn't really mean it like that. You know, that's just, she just talking. She just saying, you know, what she feels.
Passionate.
But again, that's another reason why I want to introduce people to some of our traditions and our mores and values, because I'm big on divination. I'm big on knowing what your destiny is, whether it's a priest telling you or you have done your own work.
Right.
Like I said, when did you discover you? Yeah. So it took me to be almost like 40, if you can really believe, to really be like, oh my God, this is who I am. I know what a lot of people think, but I was literally probably 45, maybe, when I'm like, no, this is me. And when I really was like, this is me, is when we closed down Drop Squad, because I was just like, I'm a teacher, I'm a healer, right? I am not, you know, what Marley what? No. So with all that said, I hope y'all enjoyed today's show. Yes. I hope y'all will check out this residency, which is at cityfestwilm.com. And or you could just do like I did and typed in Wilmington Black Storytelling Residency, and it'll come right up. And there is a space for you, because I did check it out, where you can apply. It has all the information.
Right. So the application process is over. We got to update the website, but the application process is over. Now we have our cohort of 14 people that are coming.
Wow. Thank you for
that. Are coming. And they will be coming, as I mentioned, from all over the country for that week of July 20th, 27th, and performing on Saturday, July 26th at 6 p.m. at the Senior Best Urban Arts Exchange. And it's family. Everybody come out. It's for everybody.
I would like to see more things like that. My daughter's in a cohort right now, learning software engineering. That's why we're building Drop Squad Institute, so we could teach people the plant-based, the abundance method for making vegan food, which is a spiritual method.
You gotta teach, you know, continue to work.
He's doing that with JC Alignment. So that, for me, for the next generation, I would love to see the Each One Teach One, the apprenticeships come back, and it be even more powerful than, like, you know, the HBCUs. I would like to see that, and I would like to see it in the direction that they would like it to go.
Listening,
and I want to fund it.
Yes,
I want to fund it.
We want to fund it.
Yes, Well, I'm speaking because I was speaking for my personal.
I'm putting it in there. I'm putting me in there. That's all.
Yes,
we're going to fund it.
Yeah, we're going. If I love that, we're going to fund it.
This was a whole lesson in teaching abundance.
You see my notes? I got so many notes.
It is 8:59. Thank you so much for tuning into Abundance Child Live. I pray you appreciate loved it.
I share.
Peace. Beautiful. Goes so fast.
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
The mics are off.
But we're still live, so the mic, you know, they can hear us. But that's good. In radio land, I'm learning that the mics are off, so that's all they hear, nice and clean.
Yeah.
It's for people who just want to hear the audio, don't want to be sitting, you know.
I understand it.
Oh, peace, key of life.
This was good. I feel like I don't spiritually eat.
I'm really grateful that we only have like the hour show also. Because we get them in and we get them out. You know what I mean? It ain't a whole lot of long. You got to get in here, make the points.
Yeah, make the points. Longer drawn out.
Take some of these. Am I?
Please.
I be putting them in our bags.
Oh, please. Take more if you want. I got a bunch of them. I just told you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you are the graphic design queen. You always.
Yeah, she did.
She's taking it back.